Hey everybody, welcome to Screen Crush. I'm Ryan Arey. If you watch a lot of Pixar movies, you'll start to notice a few familiar storytelling devices. There's the buddy comedy dynamic, climactic chase scenes, and what I want to talk about today, the Shyamalanian surprise villain twist. About half of Pixar movies feature a twist where an older, wise mentor is revealed to be the film's antagonist. This has actually been a Disney trope since 1937's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Snow White's trusted stepmother, the Queen, is secretly jealous of the princess and orders her execution. Pinocchio would use this evil adult narrative to teach kids the danger of trusting strangers, and also that if you fall in the wrong crowd, you'll get thrown into a cage and turned into glue. Later movies would repeat this trope with villains like Ursula, Scar, Jafar, and Frollo. But there's a key difference between Disney and Pixar's villain reveals. In most Disney films, the audience is fully aware the villains are up to no good. They're evil wizards who wear dark clothes and have names like Cruella or Maleficent. They usually get a song that describes their evil intentions.
Be mine or you will burn.
The hero usually doesn't discover the villain's true nature until the film's third act, like when Ariel hears that Vanessa is actually Ursula and that she's toad-stealing her BF Eric. Whereas in Pixar films, the villain reveal always comes in the middle of the second act. This is the moment the narrative starts to turn against the hero. For instance, in The Incredibles, it's when Bob realizes that he's been working for the bad guys all along.
What?
Classic Disney films let the audience shout at the screen.
Damn, Ariel, don't sign that. She's a sea witch.
But Pixar films let the audience be inside the screen. We experience the betrayal with the character. These aren't just twists for the sake of Shyamalaniing up a movie. These are moments that enrich our understanding of the characters. When their worldview is shaken, so is ours. The storytelling technique also resonates with children by heel-turning a trusted authority figure that kids might look to in times of crisis. Pixar villains are often older, wiser, seemingly benevolent characters that the hero looks up to. A mentor like Stinky Pete, the friendly grandpa like Lotso the bear, a provider like Mr. Waternoose, a system of government like the Axiom and Wall-E, or childhood idols like Charles Muntz and Ernesto de la Cruz. The betrayal of parental figures, the state, or your heroes is a child's worst nightmare.
I am your father.
That's impossible!
Now, I don't think one type of villain reveal is better than the other. It depends on the movie. But they each tell the story in dramatically different ways. So let's compare two classics, Toy Story 3 and The Lion King. In both films, the characters are dealing with internal and external conflicts. In The Lion King, Simba believes he's responsible for his father's death and that he's unworthy to be king. This is his internal struggle. After a pep talk from his dead dad, this conflict is resolved and he's ready for the external battle with Scar to retake the kingdom.
I killed Mufasa.
Scar's confession spurs Simba into action and rallies the pride to his side. So the reveal of the villain's evil nature resolves the battle, but not the hero's internal struggle. In Toy Story 3, the external conflict is about retaking Sunnyside Daycare from Lotso, and not burning alive. The villain reveal is that Lotso is not a benevolent host. He's a prison boss.
Take him to the box.
Any man playing grab ass or fight in the building spends a night in the box. Any man not in his bunk at 8 spends a night in the
box. Get it.
This happens in the middle of the second act and serves to further the external conflict. Afterwards, Buzz is brainwashed and the toys are trapped. If this movie centered on the battle for Sunnyside Daycare, then maybe this villain reveal would have been pushed to later. The filmmakers could have made it seem as if the daycare itself was the enemy when it was Lotso all along.
What?
But this film is more focused on the internal conflict, the toys coming to grips with their mortality. The true climax of the film is in the incinerator. In this moment, they think they're gonna die. They realize that life is short, and you shouldn't spend your time in an attic longing for the past. Lotso, the antagonist, is never defeated by the heroes. Instead, they succeed because of their changed worldview. Whereas in The Lion King and most Disney films, the goal is to restore the status quo. Simba becomes the new Mufasa, and Simba's son becomes the new Simba. Pixar also extends character growth to their villains. We never get a sepia-toned flashback of young Scar being teased by Mufasa when they were cubs, and we never see how Scar got his scar. From the moment we meet him, we understand that he's evil. He hangs out with hyenas and he even sings a Hitler song. But Lotso is given a backstory, where we see his love for Daisy turn into jealousy and then rage after he's been replaced. This shows us a potential fate for Woody and the gang, but also it makes us root for Lotso's redemption. Later, when he joins the toys in the trash compactor, we actually believe he's going to save the heroes.
Sarah, the button! Help me!
So ultimately, Lotso's greatest enemy isn't the other toys, it's his own hatred.
Where's your kid now, Sheriff?
This idea that villains aren't evil, just broken, is repeated in many of Pixar's best films. The most illuminating example is Ratatouille's Anton Ego, who hovers over the entire movie like a culinary Grim Reaper. But in the film's climax, we see Ego at his most vulnerable and humane. Here, both the audience and the characters experience revelatory shifts in perspective. This trick would be repeated in Brave, where the terrifying figure of Mordu is revealed to be the manifestation of a wounded and misunderstood soul. Pixar movies take us on adventures as far-flung as under the sea to the deepest reaches of space. But the real Pixar magic is transporting us into the hearts of their characters, so we can see the world through a new, wondrous lens. Thanks for watching, you guys. Who do you think is the best Pixar or Disney villain? Let me know in the comments below. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. For Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Arey.